Welcome to Plant Medicine Transmissions with Javier Regueiro. In this episode of Plant Medicine Transmissions, I would like to share my opinion in regards to what is known as the journey of the soul and the idea of soul wounds. I had met Kevin Furness at the Sachamama Ethnobotanical Gardens in Iquitos in 2005 upon my first visit there, and he actually supervised together with my teacher my very first diet there. A couple of years later, he gave me his own copy of a book by Michael Newton called Journey of Souls, Case Studies of Life Between Lives, published by Llewellyn Publications in the States. And the more I read these pages, these accounts, the deeper sank into my awareness the possibility that indeed we are on a larger journey that does not limit itself to this lifetime, but that actually there is a part of our being, our souls, that keep traveling and occasionally incarnate on this planet as human beings. A journey, including the journey of the soul, is never casual. There is always a purpose to that journey. And I do believe that the ultimate goal of that journey is to remember its own divinity and to live in the full awareness of that divinity, no longer separated from it, but fully embodying it in awareness and consciousness. This planet Earth, and nowadays more than ever, as well as the human experience, seems to me all about an experience of separation, and therefore is the best place for us to regain that union with our own divinity. I believe that despite the pursuit of our own egoic desires and agendas, we come here onto this planet for very specific reasons, and that reason is most importantly part of our soul's journey. That is part of that journey of reuniting with the divine and our own divinity. In that respect, then this planet is indeed a perfect place, as from the very moment of birth, it is an experience of separation that starts in the very moment of childbirth, of separation from the womb where we had been gestating for 9 months. In the Judeo-Christian tradition, it is said that an angel erases all memory, all awareness of the purpose of this journey. And so we find ourselves going through life oftentimes unaware of the deeper reasons for our being here on this planet and in this body. That lack of awareness as to the deeper reasons for our being here is oftentimes a source of confusion, and we spend most of our lives looking for meaning, for reasons. We intuit that there must be a purpose, a reason, but oftentimes that purpose eludes us. For me, this planet is an amazing schoolroom and an amazing hospital, And I do believe that most of us who choose to incarnate on this planet is most importantly to heal and to remember. Not long after reading Journey of Souls, I met a young man in Geneva, Switzerland, who spoke to me about another book, this time by Lise Bourbeau, titled Heal Your Wounds and Find Your True Self, published by Éditions ETC in Canada. This book helped me expand on my own notion of what the journey of a soul may be all about. In its first chapter, titled The Creation of Wounds and Masks, it offered a viewpoint that was very, very beneficial in my own healing journey. The most important part of it was offering the viewpoint that the wounds that I've been suffering from all my life had actually preceded this life, and that I had come into this life already carrying these wounds on a deep soul level, and that the purpose of my coming into this planet had been to give it another chance, my best, at healing those wounds. According to Lise Bourbeau, we come into this life wearing a very thin bandage over these soul wounds, and the soul chooses with much care the perfect environment, the perfect family, historical situation, cultural location that will support the resurfacing and reenacting of those wounds. And so it is that oftentimes within the very first few years of our lives, that thin bandage gets ripped off, oftentimes violently, traumatically, so that we can heal. I confess that it took me quite a while to integrate this different viewpoint. Like most other people, I grew up and was very attached to theories, psychological theories, sociological theories that justified, that gave a reason over my own miseries. The most common of them is the idea that I am who I am because of my father, my mother, my education. I am this, I am that. And this different viewpoint allow me, first of all, most importantly, to let go of that blaming against my parents, against society, against the culture, and start taking responsibility for my own lot. With time, as I continue my own healing journey, I could relate to my parents, for instance, or my siblings, not as the cause of my own pain, but as accessories, very important accessories in my own healing. I had chosen them specifically to mirror back to me my own wounds by reawakening them. And oftentimes what happens is that we choose family members that actually carry the same unhealed wound, which is oftentimes maddening, because seeing that reflected back to us is often unpleasant. But when we let go of that blaming stance, then we can start seeing these individuals as very powerful mirrors and as very powerful teachers. In my own personal case, I quickly discovered that the deepest soul wounds that I'd been carrying were the wounds of rejection and abandonment. And in the light of this new viewpoint, I could see that the parents and the history that I had chosen from spirit before incarnating were absolutely perfect match to reawaken those wounds. Now, this is an aspect that is often overlooked, but in true healing is not about miracles, although miracles do happen on a regular basis and more than we believe. But healing often implies exactly a reawakening of our own wounds, a reawakening of the pain that we hold inside. It is known, for instance, in homeopathic treatments as well as in Chinese medicine, that at the beginning of the healing process, symptoms actually aggravate. Everything that has been repressed comes to the conscious surface, comes to the surface also of our own very skin. And this principle is a very common one and also very part of the plant medicine healing process. The plant medicine healing process goes through the reawakening of our wounds. We give ourselves the permission to feel our pain, and plant medicine support us in letting go of defense mechanisms that protect us from feeling those pain. And it is by actually experiencing the pain that we carry inside that we can integrate it and that we can heal those wounds. People are often baffled. They want to heal, but they don't know how to go about it. I can only share what has worked for me this far. And in this healing process, I found first, most important, the need, the importance of taking responsibility for one's own lot. We consciously and unconsciously give that responsibility over our own experience away to as many possible external agents as we can. Our culture is very proficient in explaining away, in rationalizing why and how, but this is not supporting us in actually taking responsibility, simply accepting the fullness of our own experience of how we have felt and feel, of our thoughts in the past and the present moment. As long as our focus is on explaining our own experience, that explaining away only keeps us further and further from actually feeling our own experience. And without feeling our own experience, without fully embracing on a feeling state, emotional state, and not just mentally, we cannot fully heal. We cannot integrate those past experiences unless we take responsibility for them and we actually feel them. to fully embrace those past resisted experiences that we keep reenacting in our lives over and over again despite our best intentions, is the only way to actually learn from those experiences, and learn from those experiences on a deep soul level, not just on a superficial mental or intellectual level. Once I stopped resenting my own wounds, my own pain, and began to embrace them more wholeheartedly, I also quickly discovered that within my wounds laid the seeds of my own awakening, of my own liberation, and that liberation did not lie elsewhere, but right there where I used to hurt the most. Also, these soul wounds carry within them the most precious and most beautiful lessons. We look outside ourselves for truths about existence, and yet I found the most beautiful, most valuable, and most liberating truths to be residing exactly inside my wounds. Which is why I encourage people not to look for necessarily high peak experiences, but to keep looking inside themselves, to have the courage to put the finger right there where it hurts the most. These soul wounds are basically messages, beliefs held on a soul level that keep us separated from our own true identity and from our own divinity. Basically, they are lies that we insist on telling ourselves. They are, in the best of cases, an ignorance in regards to our true nature. And once we heal those wounds, the truth of who we are shines effortlessly and informs all aspects of our lives. Blessings.